The massive screen in Earth's Defense Command Center lit up with an unfamiliar signal pattern. Admiral James Miller stood from his chair, his weathered face illuminated by the pulsing lights. After decades of preparation, humanity's moment of truth had arrived. "Sir, the signal is translating now," reported Officer Anna White, her fingers moving swiftly across the holographic interface. The room fell silent as alien text transformed into English before their eyes. Asterisk to the primitive species of Sol's system. The eternal Galactic Empire claims dominion over your worlds. Submit to Imperial rule within one planetary rotation, or face immediate consequences. Asterisk. Admiral Miller didn't flinch. Instead, a slight smile crossed his face. The Empire had made their first mistake. They assumed Earth was primitive just because they hadn't ventured far from their solar system. "Send our prepared response," Miller ordered, his voice calm and steady. The control room staff watched as their message was transmitted. A simple no. In high orbit, hidden stations powered up their scanning systems. Earth had been waiting for this moment since the first alien wreckage was discovered in Antarctica in 1949. Decades of reverse engineering, combined with humanity's own technological development, had prepared them for this day. The Empire's massive ship, hanging in space like a metal mountain, sent another message. "Your defiance is noted. Your species appears to lack the basic intelligence to understand its situation. We have conquered 10,000 worlds. Resistance is." Miller cut the transmission. "Basic intelligence, eh?" he muttered. "Let's see how they like this." He nodded to Technical Director Peter Brown, who activated Earth's planetary defense grid. Across the globe, hidden facilities hummed to life. In orbit, cloaked satellites revealed themselves, not to attack, but to show the Empire exactly what they were facing. "Sir, they're scanning our defensive network," reported Officer White. Their energy readings just spiked. The Empire's response came quickly. "Impossible. These technologies, you cannot possess these advancements. Your species has not yet achieved regular interplanetary travel." Miller allowed himself a broader smile. "Send the second message." The response they transmitted was longer this time. "The eternal Galactic Empire is hereby informed that the Sol system and all its inhabited worlds are sovereign territory. Any hostile action will be met with immediate and proportional response. We have studied your weapons, your shields, and your tactics. We chose not to expand beyond our system because we were busy preparing. Leave now." The control room waited. Minutes passed as the Empire's ship remained motionless. Their sensors detected frantic energy readings from the vessel, suggesting they were conducting deep scans of Earth's defenses. Finally, a new message arrived. "Explain your level of advancement. This defies all Imperial records." Miller looked at his staff, proud of humanity's achievement. While the Empire had expanded endlessly, humanity had turned inward, developing technologies in unique ways. They had found the alien wreckage and chosen to keep their discoveries secret. They had built defenses that worked differently from Imperial technology, creating solutions the Empire had never considered. "Should we explain, sir?" asked Brown. Miller shook his head. "They don't need to know about Antarctica. Send the final message." The message was brief. "Your empire expanded across the stars. We fortified our home. You spent centuries conquering. We spent centuries preparing. The choice is yours. Leave in peace or learn why we never feared the stars." The tension in the control room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Everyone knew Earth's defenses were strong, but the Empire's fleet was vast. If they chose war. After what seemed like hours, the Empire's ship began to move. Slowly at first, then with increasing speed, it retreated from Earth's orbit. "They're leaving the solar system, sir," White confirmed, relief evident in her voice. Miller nodded. "They'll be back," he said quietly. "But next time they'll bring their fleet. And next time, they'll learn that humanity doesn't submit to empires." He turned to his staff. "Send word to Mars Colony and the lunar base. Begin Phase 2 of the defense preparations. The real test is still to come. As his crew rushed to their tasks, Miller looked at the main screen, now showing the retreating Imperial vessel. Humanity had won this first encounter, but he knew it was just the beginning. The Empire wouldn't accept this defiance, but Earth was ready. They had spent generations preparing for this moment, and they would not fail. The age of humanity's isolation was over. The game of galactic politics had begun, and Earth had just announced its opening move. 5 Imperial warships appeared near Mars, their black hulls blocking out the stars. Commander Kate Reed watched them from Mars Defense Station Alpha, her expression calm despite the threat looming above the red planet. "They're earlier than we expected," she said, addressing the control room. "But we're ready. Status report." "Shield systems at full power," reported Officer Mike Barnes. "Mining colonies are evacuated. Defense grid online." The Imperial ships moved into attack formation. Earth's Mars colony, home to 50,000 people, lay exposed below them. Or so they thought. The first transmission arrived. "This demonstration will show Earth the price of defiance. Surrender your Mars colony, or we will destroy it." Kate pressed a button on her command chair. "This is Commander Reed of Mars Defense. You are in protected space. Leave now." The Empire's response was immediate, not with words, but with weapons. Green energy beams lanced down from their ships, powerful enough to crack a planet's crust. They expected to see the colony explode. Instead, their beams hit something invisible. "Shields holding at 98%, Barnes reported with a grin. "They're not even scratching the surface." The Imperial ships fired again, this time with their full power. The shield above Mars became visible for a moment, a shifting, blue-white dome of energy that absorbed every attack. Humanity's greatest defense technology was proving its worth. "Their weapons are based on energy projection," Kate said, watching the tactical display. "But our shields convert energy into fuel. The more they fire, the stronger we become," Barnes finished. "Should we show them our tricks, Commander?" Kate nodded. "Let's give them a demonstration of our own. Activate the Phobos array." High above Mars, the small moon Phobos flickered. Its surface was actually a shell, hiding thousands of defensive weapons. As the camouflage dropped, the Imperial ships finally realized they weren't fighting a simple colony. "Unknown weapons detected." An Imperial officer transmitted, panic in his voice. "This technology, it's impossible." "You should have listened to Earth," Kate responded. "Fire warning shots. 20% power." The Phobos array came to life. Instead of energy beams, it fired solid projectiles, accelerated to near-light speed. The shots passed close to the Imperial ships, their sensors showing just how devastating the direct hit would be. By the Emperor's grace, the Imperial transmission crackled. Those weapons would tear through our strongest shields. Kate smiled. While the Empire had focused on energy weapons, humanity had taken a different path. They had perfected mass drivers and kinetic weapons that could punch through any known defense. "Final warning," she transmitted. "Leave Mars space, or we will defend ourselves." The Imperial ships started to pull back, but their commander made one last attempt. "You cannot defend all your colonies. The Empire will." Kate cut him off by firing another round of warning shots, even closer this time. The Imperial ships finally got the message. Their engines flared bright as they retreated, abandoning their demonstration of power. "They're jumping out of the system," Barnes reported. "All 5 ships." The control room erupted in cheers, but Kate raised her hand for silence. "This isn't over. Contact Earth Command. Tell them the Empire now knows about some of our defensive capabilities." She stood and walked to the main window, looking out at the red surface of Mars. The colony below was safe, its people protected by technology the Empire couldn't understand. Humanity had spent generations developing weapons and defenses that worked differently from alien technology. While the Empire had stagnated, humanity had innovated. Send the battle data to Luna Base, she ordered. They'll need to adapt their defenses based on what we learned today. As her crew worked, Kate thought about what would come next. The Empire had just suffered its first military defeat in thousands of years. They wouldn't take this humiliation lightly. How long until they return with their main fleet? Barnes asked quietly. Not long, Kate replied. But next time, we won't just defend. Earth has waited generations for this moment. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity is ready for war. The stars twinkled silently above Mars, but soon they would witness a conflict unlike any the galaxy had seen before. The Empire had awakened a sleeping giant, and humanity was done hiding. The United Earth Council chamber was silent as Ambassador Lord Nexus of the Empire walked in. He was tall, humanoid, with silver skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. Director Tom Wilson watched him carefully from across the meeting table, noting how the alien tried to look unimpressed. Your chambers are adequate, Lord Nexus said, his translator making his voice sound metallic, though primitive compared to Imperial standards. Tom smiled slightly. The Empire still didn't understand. The simple wood and stone chamber was designed to look basic. Behind its walls lay some of the most advanced scanning and defense technology ever created. Let's skip the usual diplomatic games, Tom said. We both know why you're here. Lord Nexus sat down, his silver robes flowing like liquid metal. Indeed, the Empire wishes to understand how your species acquired such advanced technology. Our records show your civilization should be at least 3 centuries away from such developments. Tom opened a folder on the table. Inside were photographs, very old and worn. Perhaps we should discuss the crash of 1949, he said, sliding one photo across the table. Lord Nexus's silver skin paled slightly as he looked at the image of a crashed Imperial scout ship in Antarctica. Impossible. That vessel was lost on a routine survey mission. It was our first contact with Imperial technology, Tom explained, but not our last. Over the centuries, we found more crashes, more pieces. We studied them, improved them, developed our own path. The ambassador's eyes narrowed. You broke Imperial law by studying restricted technology. Tom laughed. Imperial law. We never agreed to your laws. We were never part of your empire. While you spent thousands of years conquering other worlds, humanity took a different approach. We stayed quiet. We prepared. We innovated. He pressed a button on the table. A hologram appeared, showing the complex web of Earth's defensive systems. Lord Nexus leaned forward despite himself, his diplomatic mask slipping. Your weapons, they're not copies of Imperial technology, the ambassador realized. You used our basic principles to create something entirely new. Correct, Tom said. We saw the flaws in Imperial design. Energy weapons. Impressive, but predictable. Shield technology. Strong, but inflexible. We took different paths, developed technologies you never considered. Lord Nexus stood suddenly. The Empire cannot allow this. Your species has developed military technology beyond acceptable levels. You must submit to Imperial control. Tom remained seated, calm. Or what? You'll attack? How did that work at Mars? The ambassador's skin rippled with anger. That was a small force. The Empire's main fleet would face the same problems. Tom interrupted. Your ships can't penetrate our shields. Your defenses can't stop our weapons. And you haven't even seen a fraction of what we can do. He stood now, matching the ambassador's height. But we're willing to offer an alternative. Equal diplomatic relations, trade agreements, cultural exchange. The Empire can have peace with Earth. Lord Nexus laughed, but it sounded forced. The Empire does not make deals with primitive worlds. Primitive. Tom pressed another button. New holograms appeared, showing Earth's colonies on Mars, the Moon, and several asteroids. We've colonized our system, developed technology you don't understand, and defeated your ships without losing a single life. Maybe it's time the Empire updated its definition of primitive. The ambassador's expression turned cold. This meeting is over. The Empire will not be threatened by. Not threatened, Tom corrected. Informed. Take our offer of peace back to your leaders. Tell them Earth is willing to be a friend. Or, Lord Nexus asked. Or learn why we spent 200 years preparing for war. The ambassador stormed out of the chamber, his robe swirling behind him. Once he was gone, Admiral Miller stepped out from a hidden door. That could have gone better, the Admiral said. Tom shook his head. It went exactly as expected. The Empire's pride won't let them accept us as equals. They'll attack. Are you sure showing them those old crash photos was wise? They needed to understand that we've been ready for them for generations, Tom replied. When their fleet comes, they'll be facing an enemy that knows their weaknesses and has spent centuries preparing to exploit them. The two men looked out the chamber's window at the sunset over Earth's capital city. Somewhere up there, an Imperial ship was preparing to carry news of this meeting back to the Empire's leaders. How long do we have? Tom asked. Admiral Miller checked his tablet. Our deep space sensors show their fleet is already gathering. The real war is about to begin. Tom nodded. Diplomacy had failed, just as they'd expected. Now it was time for humanity to show the galaxy what they could really do. General Maria Rodriguez stood in the Asteroid Belt Command Center, watching as 10,000 Imperial warships entered the solar system. Their massive fleet stretched across space like a metal storm cloud, carrying enough firepower to destroy a dozen worlds. They really brought everything, she said calmly, just as we hoped. Her second-in-command, Colonel Jack West, checked the tactical displays. Imperial fleet is moving past Jupiter. No sign they've detected our asteroid bases. Maria smiled. The Empire thought the asteroid belt was just a natural barrier between the inner and outer solar system. They didn't know that humanity had turned it into the largest weapon ever built. All stations report ready, Jack announced. Waiting for your command. The Imperial fleet moved closer, their ships forming attack patterns. Their first transmission boomed through the command center. This is High Admiral Vex of the Imperial Armada. Surrender now or face complete destruction. Maria pressed her command console. This is General Rodriguez of Earth Defense. We warned you not to return. She nodded to Jack. Activate the belt. Across millions of kilometers of space, thousands of asteroids suddenly lit up with energy signatures. Each rock, carefully hollowed out over decades, was actually a fortress. Hidden weapon ports opened, revealing rails for mass drivers and launch tubes for nanite swarms. By the Emperor, the Imperial transmission crackled. The entire belt is. Fire, Maria ordered. The asteroid belt erupted. Thousands of mass drivers fired simultaneously, launching projectiles at near-light speed. Each shot was perfectly calculated, impossible to dodge at this range. The Imperial ship's energy shields, designed to stop plasma and laser fire, were useless against solid projectiles moving so fast. In the first 60 seconds, 3,000 Imperial ships were destroyed. Second wave, Maria commanded. Launch the nanite swarms. From other asteroids, clouds of microscopic robots poured forth. The Empire had never seen anything like them. While they scrambled to adjust their shields, the nanites passed right through, beginning to dismantle their ships from the inside. Their fleet is breaking formation, Jack reported, excitement in his voice. They're trying to retreat. But Maria wasn't finished. Activate the gravity nets. Hidden generators powered up, creating overlapping fields of artificial gravity. Imperial ships found themselves pulled in multiple directions, their engines struggling against forces they hadn't known humans could control. This is impossible, High Admiral Vex screamed over the comm. No species has this level of technology. You should have studied us more carefully, Maria replied. Humanity doesn't think like the Empire. We don't build big ships to show our power. We turn entire regions of space into weapons. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than 3 hours. When it was over, the mighty Imperial fleet was in ruins. Thousands of ships destroyed, others drifting helplessly, their cores shut down by nanite infection. "Status report," Maria ordered. Jack checked his screens. Over 8,000 Imperial ships destroyed or disabled. The rest are retreating. "Our casualties." He paused, double-checking the numbers. 0. "We didn't lose a single base." Maria nodded. The Empire had fallen for humanity's greatest deception. They'd seen Earth's planetary defenses and thought they understood what they were fighting. They never imagined that humans had turned an entire asteroid belt into an interconnected defense system. "Send word to Earth Command," she ordered. The belt defense network worked exactly as planned. "The Empire's main fleet is crippled." As her staff celebrated around her, Maria watched the tactical display. The remaining Imperial ships were fleeing at maximum speed, leaving their damaged companions behind. Humanity's first major battle against the Empire had ended in total victory. "Should we pursue?" Jack asked. Maria shook her head. "No need. They'll carry word of this defeat back to their capital. Let the Empire learn what happens when they threaten Earth." She turned to her command staff. "Begin recovery operations. I want those disabled Imperial ships stripped for study. And prepare a message to all human colonies. The asteroid belt defense network is fully operational. Earth's outer defense line is secure." As her crew worked, Maria thought about what this victory meant. The Empire had just lost more ships in 3 hours than in the last 1,000 years of their expansion. But more importantly, they'd learned that humanity wasn't just another primitive species to be conquered. The real war was just beginning, and Earth had many more surprises waiting. Captain David Jones stood on the bridge of the EDS Shadow, Earth's most advanced stealth vessel. His ship, along with 5 others like it, had just appeared inside Imperial space using quantum tunneling technology, something the Empire had never achieved. "Status report," he ordered quietly, though the stealth systems would have hidden even a shout. "Imperial Forward Command Base in visual range," reported Lieutenant Emma Foster. "Their sensors show no sign of detecting us." Quantum cloak holding steady. The Imperial base was massive. A space station twice the size of Earth's moon, serving as the command center for their entire military response against Earth. And they had no idea 6 human ships were about to strike. "All ships confirm ready," Emma said. "Operation Thunderbolt is go." David nodded. "Send the signal. 3 seconds to synchronized attack." The human fleet had spent 2 weeks sneaking through Imperial space, using technology that defied the Empire's understanding of physics. While their enemies thought faster-than-light travel required massive energy signatures, humanity had found a way to slip between the fabric of space itself. 3, 2, 1. All 6 ships dropped their quantum cloaks simultaneously. Before the Imperial base could even register their presence, they fired their primary weapons. "Target their quantum communication arrays first," David ordered. "Don't let them call for help." Precision beam weapons, far more advanced than Imperial technology, sliced through the base's outer defenses like they weren't there. The Empire had built their shields to stop brute force attacks. They never expected weapons that could phase through their defenses by targeting specific quantum states. "Communications arrays destroyed," Emma reported. "They're blind and deaf." The Imperial base finally began to respond, but their reaction was slow and confused. Weapon emplacements turned to fire at the human ships, only to find them vanished and reappearing somewhere else. "They still can't track our quantum jumps," David noted with satisfaction. Launch Phase 2. From each human ship, thousands of tiny drones emerged. Another human innovation. Artificial intelligence small enough to fit in devices the size of insects. The drones swarmed toward the base, passing through walls and shields as if they were mist. "Imperial internal systems are going dark," Emma reported, watching data stream across her screen. "Their computers are being infected." defense systems failing. David opened a channel to the Imperial base, letting them see him for the first time. "This is Captain Jones of the Earth Defense Force. Your base is now under our control." The Imperial commander's face appeared on screen, his silver skin pale with shock. "Impossible. How did you penetrate our defenses? How did you even reach this far into Imperial space?" "Your empire has ruled the galaxy for too long," David replied. "You stopped innovating. Stopped thinking of new ways to travel, to fight, to defend. Humanity never stopped." As if to prove his point, another human fleet appeared from quantum tunnels, larger ships this time, carrying Earth's marine forces. "Your base is now Earth property," David declared. "Your personnel can surrender and be treated well, or attempt to resist and fail." The Imperial commander looked at another screen, watching as human marines in advanced powered armor quantum shifted directly into his command center. The Empire's most secure military base had fallen in less than an hour. "How?" the commander asked again, his voice barely a whisper. "Even our best scientists said this kind of technology was impossible." David smiled. "That's why you lost. You only looked for what you thought was possible. Humanity dreams bigger." Over the next few hours, the human forces secured the entire base, the Empire's forward command center, meant to coordinate their war against Earth, was now a foothold for humanity's expansion into the galaxy. "Send word to Earth Command," David ordered. "The first phase of Operation Thunderbolt is complete. We're ready to begin striking other Imperial targets." Emma nodded, then paused. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures. The Empire's main fleet, what's left of it, is changing course. They're abandoning their attacks on Earth and rushing back to protect their core worlds." David looked out at the captured base, thinking about what this victory meant. The Empire had just learned that they weren't just fighting a defensive war. Earth could strike anywhere, at any time, using technology the Empire couldn't even understand. "They thought they could cage us in our solar system," he said quietly. "Instead, we just proved we can hit them anywhere we want. The real war is just beginning." Admiral Lisa Cooper watched the holographic display in Earth's Strategic Command Center as reports flooded in from across Imperial space. Their quantum spy drones were showing something unexpected. The Empire was falling into chaos. "Another system has declared independence," reported Intelligence Officer Mark Turner. "That's the fifth one today. The Empire's grip is weakening." The massive display showed the Empire's territory, with red dots indicating rebellious systems and blue markers showing Earth's recent victories. The pattern was clear. The Empire was losing control. "Show me their high command meeting," Lisa ordered. A hologram shifted, showing a secret feed from the Empire's central palace. Earth's quantum spy technology let them watch the Empire's most private moments. The scene was pure chaos. High Admiral Vex slammed his silver fist on the table. "We must gather every ship we have and crush Earth now." "With what fleet?" Another Imperial leader shot back. "Half our ships are destroyed. A quarter are infected with human nanites. The rest are needed to keep our own systems from rebelling." Lisa allowed herself a small smile. The Empire's rigid structure was becoming its weakness. They had no experience dealing with defeat, no plans for fighting an enemy that could appear anywhere at will. "New report from the border sectors," Mark announced. 3 more Imperial battle groups have gone dark. Our quantum strike teams hit them before they could even raise shields." The Imperial High Command's argument grew more heated. Their silver skin flickered with different colors showing their stress. Another secret Earth had learned from studying crashed ships decades ago. "These humans," an Imperial scientist was saying, "their technology follows no logic. They've developed in ways our science said was impossible." "Because you limited yourselves," Lisa muttered. She had studied the Empire's scientific development. For thousands of years, they had followed the same paths, refined the same technologies. They never looked for alternatives. A new alert flashed on the display. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Mark reported. Imperial ships are deserting. Whole squadrons are jumping away from their posts. The Empire's strict control was backfiring. Their ship's crews, seeing Earth's superior technology and hearing about the rebellions, were losing faith in their leaders. Lisa opened a channel to Earth Command. "This is Admiral Cooper. Recommend we begin Phase 6. The Empire is destabilizing faster than expected." "Confirmed, Admiral," came the response. "You have authorization to proceed." She turned to her staff. "Send the signal to all our quantum strike teams. Begin broadcasting the message to every Imperial world and ship." Across Imperial space, Earth's hidden transmitters activated. In thousands of locations, the same message began playing. "People of the Empire, you have a choice. Earth offers friendship to any world that wishes independence. Your rulers have lost their power. You need not fall with them." The effect was immediate. On the strategic display, dozens of new red dots appeared. More systems declaring independence. Imperial ships changed course, either fleeing or moving to join Earth's growing alliance. In the Imperial Palace, the High Command's meeting devolved into chaos. Some leaders drew weapons, accusing others of treason. The Empire's unified face was cracking. "Their entire command structure is collapsing," Mark reported with amazement. "They've never faced this kind of situation. They don't know how to handle defeat." Lisa nodded. "The Empire ruled through fear and overwhelming force. We showed their forces could be beaten. Their fear tactics don't work anymore." She studied the display, watching as the Empire's territory shrank. Human quantum ships appeared and disappeared across space, striking key targets and vanishing before the Empire could respond. Each victory encouraged more systems to rebel. "New transmission from the Imperial Palace," Mark announced. They're arguing about surrender terms." "Already?" Lisa raised an eyebrow. "That's faster than we expected." But it made sense. The Empire's strength had been its unity, its absolute control. Once that began to crack, the whole structure was falling apart. "Send word to all Earth forces," she ordered. "The Empire's collapse has begun. Stand ready to protect any system that declares independence. The galaxy is about to change." She looked at the display one last time, watching as humanity's influence spread across space. The Empire had ruled for thousands of years, but they had never faced an enemy like Earth, a planet that had spent centuries preparing not just to fight them, but to replace them. The next phase would be crucial. The Empire was falling, but ensuring stability afterward would be humanity's greatest challenge yet. President Robert Hammond stood in the Great Hall of Unity, once the Imperial Palace's throne room. Representatives from 300 formerly Imperial worlds sat before him, their faces showing a mix of hope and uncertainty. Above them, through the transparent dome, Earth ships patrolled using their quantum drive technology, their presence a reminder of humanity's protective power. "The Empire is gone," Hammond began, his voice carrying across the silent hall. "Not destroyed, but transformed. Today, we create something new." The Imperial throne behind him had been removed. In its place stood a simple podium made of wood from Earth, a symbol that the age of Imperial dominance was over. "For 10,000 years, the Empire ruled through force," he continued. "They demanded obedience and crushed independence. Earth chose a different path. We offer you freedom." On the massive screens around the hall, images appeared showing the last 3 months of change. Imperial fleets surrendering, worlds declaring independence, the Empire's leaders signing treaties that ended their absolute rule. "Earth could have become the new empire," Hammond said. "We have technology the Empire never imagined. Quantum drives that let us appear anywhere, shields they cannot penetrate, weapons they cannot stop. But we choose to use this power differently." Ambassador Mark Turner, who had helped plan Earth's strategy, stood nearby. He watched the faces of the alien representatives, seeing understanding dawn in their eyes. "Today, We established the Free Systems Alliance, Hammond declared. Each world governs itself. Each species chooses its path. Earth will share its technology, its knowledge, and its protection with any world that joins freely. The screens showed new images, Earth's shipyards building vessels for other worlds, human scientists teaching quantum physics to alien students, joint defense forces patrolling space. Some say we moved too fast, Hammond acknowledged. The Empire maintained order for millennia. But it was order without progress, control without freedom. We offer something better, unity through choice. He pressed a button on the podium. Above them, Earth's most advanced ships performed a quantum jump sequence, appearing and disappearing in perfect formation. A demonstration of power, but also of precision and control. The remaining Imperial loyalists call us primitives who got lucky, Hammond smiled. They're wrong. Earth spent centuries preparing not just to fight the Empire, but to replace it with something better. We developed technology that worked differently, thought in ways they never considered, and most importantly, we never lost our dream of freedom. He gestured to the representatives. Each of you has chosen to join the Alliance, not through force, but through free will. Earth promises to protect your independence, share our advances, and stand with you against any threat. The hall erupted in applause. Many of these worlds had known only Imperial rule for thousands of years. The idea of true independence, backed by Earth's power, was revolutionary. The Empire thought humanity was primitive because we stayed in our solar system, Hammond continued once the applause faded. They never understood. We weren't trapped. We were building, planning, creating technology that could reshape the galaxy, not to rule it, but to free it. He raised his hand, and the dome above became a vast display showing the galaxy. Thousands of worlds connected not by Imperial control, but by quantum communication networks and free trade routes. This is humanity's gift to the galaxy, Hammond declared. Not conquest, but liberation. Not control, but cooperation. The Empire is ended. The Free Systems Alliance begins today. The representatives rose to their feet, cheering. Centuries of Imperial rule had ended in just months, replaced by something entirely new. Earth had not just defeated the Empire, they had made it obsolete. Later, in a private room, Hammond watched the celebrations continuing below. Admiral Miller joined him, smiling. Hard to believe it worked exactly as we planned, the Admiral said. Hammond nodded. 200 years of preparation. Generations of humans working in secret, developing technology, planning this moment. The Empire never understood what they were facing. And now we build something better, Hammond replied. The Empire ruled through fear. Earth will lead through example. The galaxy is free, and humanity will help keep it that way. The celebration continued through the night, marking the beginning of a new era. Earth had emerged from isolation, not just as a powerful world, but as a liberator, transforming the galaxy in ways the Empire never imagined possible. The age of the Empire was over. The age of freedom had begun.